And we're live on NIKOLAY World.
Hello,
hey,
NIKOLAY
everybody!
Okay, so I was just telling our other stream that we're going to do a really basic introduction to pas de deux, ballet pas de deux. And if you have a partner nearby, if you've got a younger brother, sister, your dad, your mom, probably your grandmother or grandfather could do that, or just a friend, you know, if anyone's standing by that they kind of want to learn some really basic ballet partnering techniques. Mm-hmm. So today we're not going to get into lifting or like lots of, you know, support sort of stuff that might injure your back. Today we're going to go over hands and arms and just basic balance techniques. Okay?
Yeah, so we should, I think everybody on my Instagram feed will probably know who we are. But we should introduce ourselves to NIKOLAY World because...
Hi, NIKOLAY World.
So this is Rex Tilton. I'm Allison DeBona. I'm a first soloist with Ballet West. And
I'm a principal.
And together we direct Art Emotion, which is our little school. And we are really proud to be the newest ambassadors for NIKOLAY World, which is Grishko in the United States. So I've been wearing Grishko point shoes for like, I think over 20 years, or if not, this is my 20th anniversary actually. I think since I was 16 I've been wearing Grishkos and I'm 36. So yeah, this is my 20th anniversary. Isn't that wild? So we're really, really proud to be a part of the NIKOLAY family. And for those of you who don't know, Grishko products are now available in the United States. All products are available in the United States through the NIKOLAY brand. And so, this is the beginning of an awesome relationship. So like Rex said, he's going to teach the class. So they asked us to kind of teach a pas de deux class, but we were worried about doing too much for you guys while you're at home because we don't want you to get injured and we're not there to actually see what you're doing, which really matters. So Rex is, like he said, going to keep it simple, and it's more or less about relationship and just beginning about the arms and, you know, shoulder relationship and stuff like that that are important. So I'm going to do a few things like on point, but we're also going to show you guys like what you could be doing at home safely with somebody who maybe doesn't even know ballet at all.
Right.
But just the relationship really, really matters. And trust really, really matters. So, like, just trustful?
No.
He says no. Okay, fine. Okay, so Rex.
Yes.
You're in charge.
Okay, so I figured just off the top of my head we should go over like the most common ballet partnering hand positions that you would see on stage. So there are obviously just normal ballet arm and hand positions, but when you get two people together, these positions can kind of be modified a little bit to work with two people. So I think the first position that we usually see in a pas de deux is when a partner is leading their other partner on stage. So there's a couple of different things. You can do arm and waist. That's the first one. So you offer your hand right in front of you, and then you take the waist with the other arm. Now, you can do a few things from here, but I think generally speaking, you walk forward, and you just keep walking. And it should be the same feet, right? So you should worry about using the same leg for that first step, okay? So not to trip each other. But that can turn into is a multitude of things. So just do step, step, PK, Allison. So small step, step. So I'm holding on to her waist. And then she does PK arabesque. Right? So that's one example of one of the things you could do. So from even here, you could do PK sous-sus, keeping this arm, and go up into fifth high. And all of a sudden, we're in a different hand position. So really what I want to show you guys is like, let's say the five most common arm and hand positions in pas de deux. So the first one we just talked about was arm and waist. Arm and waist, okay?
Would you spend a lot of time here?
A lot of time.
Yeah. And just like an insider cute like thing to mention, like us ladies, let's say we're doing a grand pas de deux and we've had variations and we're both really, really tired. but we actually end up talking to each other, believe it or not, with this position. We end up communicating, but it's true. Like little movements with our hands or touching of the waist. So it just, the relationship's already there, and sometimes the audience can't see that little communication, but it's pretty big, and it's like, oh God, save me, save me, save me, and that's usually a nice little hand squeeze.
Another thing is sometimes when you're on stage and it's live music, you can get an orchestra that's just kind of doing their own thing, you know, when it comes to tempo, and you can actually kind of set, if you're a partner and you're a smart partner and you're thinking about the steps you're going to do to the music that you have, you're going to think of going maybe a little bit ahead of the music. So what do? You brace a little bit, and she knows we're about to go.
Yeah.
We're about to do something, okay? So like it's small communication, like I don't know, hints, right? That you can do through just touching each other's hands and on their waist, okay? So what we were talking about before when we were going into piqué arabesque, it was piqué sous-sus. We went from arm and waist to the next position, which is hand in hand. Okay.
So should we move back so people can see?
Yeah, if you can't see, so hand in hand.
So you guys, we're in our garage.
We're in our garage.
And so Rex, like, we have like a little floor built and stuff, but we definitely have constraints with height, and actually, like, if Rex tries to jump or even goes on releve and puts his hands up, like, he will touch the ceiling.
Yeah,
so
I'll be careful.
Yeah, just so you guys understand that, like, we're literally in the same boat as all of you guys out there, and we're continuing to try to train in some capacity safely at home. So it's nice to get to know everybody and to know that we're all in the same place.
So think of the idea of holding hands. Now, this is a really simple concept, but if you're a partner and not being partnered, this is for the people that are partnering.
Yeah.
That your partner's center is not where you are standing. Okay? So you automatically have to realize that you're holding on to them, but their center of gravity is not all of a sudden like under you. You still have to respect their space, okay? So when she's going to go piqué sous-sus and I'm going to take her other hand, I'm not going to be doing much. I'm just going to let her find that position, and then I step in and I take both hands, okay? And if we want to go to a proper fifth high, the most usual position you see is taking the wrists. So let's get closer. Let's get closer to the show. Okay, so taking the wrists. So you go from hand, it's getting closer. So hand, and then you slide up the arm to the wrist, and very gently you can take her wrists. Now, what I would be doing is not actually trying to balance her in this position. That's not very safe. She's going to find her balance all on her own, but you are guiding her. Again, it's about that communication touch, right? So that if we're in this position and we're waiting for some music, I can do a slight lift and she feels that, and then we can continue. So really, a lot of these hand positions that you see in ballet and a lot of the partnering is not...
they can't see your face.
It's not necessarily a dance move, it's communicating, okay? So, yeah, it's two. Let's think of a third one.
Well, I wanted to mention this too, because you just said something really interesting to me as well. But the communication part of it, I find that if you approach your partnering just as like steps that you're learning, and I've done this, I'm sure you can admit to doing this too at some point in your life. If you approach your partnering just like steps, it really doesn't get the proper point across, and the relationship sometimes has some tension. Whereas if you are actually trying to communicate with each other, then you start to become in tune, and it makes for a better performance. So and so you have to be also really aware of what kind of messages you're also sending to your partners. Like, if you're frustrated, sometimes how you touch them matters. Or, if you're really calm, like I've had partners like Rex, if I feel nervous, but just them touching me, like, and them relaying the message that they're calm. No, but I'm serious. I mean, those kind of things matter, at least to the ladies. Maybe you guys aren't so aware of that as the men, but at least for us ladies, I feel like how we're being touched by our partners really matters, because if you're actually thinking about it as communication.
I think it all comes down to when you are actually touching each other in these positions that you're not partnering them.
Yeah.
I'm not holding her up. She doesn't need me to hold her up, right? I am just offering my hand and she's going to use it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to touch the side of her body so that she knows that I'm there. Mm-hmm. But I am not holding her up, okay? So maybe at the end of a 4-act ballet and we're about to do a finale of some sort, maybe she's going to use me a little bit.
If she's blacking out, she might.
Yes.
Yeah. It could happen.
Yes, it can happen, but generally not a rule. Okay? Yeah. Strive to not need to hold each other up in those positions. Totally. Okay, so we did arm and waist, or hand and waist.
Hand and waist.
Then we did hand in hand. Mm-hmm. Now we go to pits, I think, is the next step.
Oh, pits are awesome.
Pits, armpits, I guess you could think of it more like the scapula. You're partnering her back. Mm-hmm. And it requires you to be able to get your hand a little bit forward so your fingers are controlling her shoulders, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So it's not just, if you turn around, I'm not meaning like touching like oven mittens like this, but you're using the scapula and you can manipulate her body much easier. There's less play in her shoulders. You're going to be able to move her a lot easier. So a good example of that would be big lifts, right? So a drape lift, if I'm going to lift her over my head, let's do it, babe, come on! If I'm going to lift her over my head and her body draped down, the best idea is to get below the scapula so that she can cambre back and it's kind of like she's laying back on a shelf sort of thing. So that's one of those lifts in that position. Also, if you're going to be doing, this isn't one of those positions that I'd say is very common. Mm-hmm. It happens in lifts and also in drags. Mm-hmm. I think a drag is another position or another move that you use that position. So let's say she's going to be in a jeté position and
you want to try it?
Sure. So she's going to step into jeté and I'm just going to drag her essentially. Mm-hmm. She's not touching the ground, but I don't want to be going too low, or else what that's going to do is make it so that it's kind of like holding her up like this, where I'm not very strong. But if you can get your hands a little bit closer to your torso, mm-hmm. it's a lot stronger and more stable situation. So that's another situation where you would use pits. Also, an actual drag where her feet are on the floor. That's kind of what I was getting at, is you can kind of spin in this position.
Forever.
Do not do that at home.
So you guys, I wanted to just talk from the girls' perspective, just so that they understand. So Rex keeps mentioning the scapula and the back. So one common mistake that girls do, or guys, or whatever, whoever the partner is, I'm just talking our relationship, so we're a girl-guy relationship, but really it could be any relationship at all.
I've had to be lifted before.
So if Rex is, let's say we're going into a drag, right? We sometimes confuse the idea of using our back with hunkering down. So let me show you the difference, and this matters, you guys. So sometimes when we hunker down, and this is incorrect, hold my back for me. Some girls think that means pushing down with the arms, like this. So when Rex tries to pick me up, and I'm kind of like that, he doesn't, I mean, he's extremely strong, but he does not really have, he's a jokester. He really doesn't have the support he needs. So by us offering our backs, we literally have to think it's our backs.
That's a better way of saying it. You're not just bearing down mm-hmm. and flexing. You're offering your body to be supported.
Yes.
Right? And so you still have to stay strong, but you can't just, it's not a trust fall. It's the exact opposite of a trust fall. You're using your core muscles, your back muscles, everything to make yourself liftable.
Yeah.
You know?
So that has two parts for the ladies, at least in my mind. Okay, this is how I usually approach like something. And let's go back to like the circle on the ground where you're dragging me around.
Okay.
So you guys, when I am offering him my back, I'm thinking that I'm rotating my arms and my scapula into my back. So again, I'm not pushing down with my arms. I'm doing a rotation to offer my back. The other part of it, and he mentioned it, we still have to keep our pelvic floors lifted. So let's show the not good way to do it. It's going to be scary, but we've seen this. If I completely relax my pelvic floor and my arms, this looks like this, and it's like okay, guys, why can't you pick me up? Okay, but it's a two-way
It's not a
street.
trust fall.
No. And we have done those before on stage. But if I offer my back and lift my pelvic floor, I'm essentially taking weight out of Rex's arms.
Yeah.
Just enough by maintaining my own body weight, just with the thought of holding my pelvic floor. And it's fascinating that it works that way.
You connect the dots in your body so that I can control more from a single part of her body, her shoulders.
And you guys, there's like, I mean, can we try to do like a not so high jump? But I know I'm getting really, I'm having too much fun.
What jump?
But you know when we do the hand and pick kind of like jeté?
Yes.
So this is also a prime example where...
So be in mind, this is a more contemporary partnering move.
Yeah.
It's more likely to see the opposite shoulder being partnered. In contemporary ballet, you see this position, and there's a lot of potential for kind of like amazing stuff, throwing, spinning, getting a lot of height too from this position.
Mm-hmm. So we can talk about this after this relationship
the S curve or what?
Well, just like how we're holding our hands and how this is different.
So palm and palm.
Yeah.
So we can show you guys. So this is kind of the relationship. Notice how we're not like grabbing like this. She's just resting, and she's pushing down on my hand. Yeah. And that just makes that relationship really easy to read.
Oh yeah, let's talk to our followers too. See guys? So again, like guys, the use of the fingers, it's sort of like, I don't know. When we claw onto each other, we're really
I don't claw.
No,
I do not claw.
We're opening up a whole like floodgate of issues. So like when Rex is saying like our palms are connected truly, that's how we're talking to each other. So, but if Rex was going to do it, I'll do a little jeté, you know. Okay. But if I do not hold my back the way Rex is asking me to do, this is what happens. Go ahead, I'm scared. We're like literally, I'm getting dragged and pulled, and sometimes my shoulder pops. Where it's like I'm engaging my back, so I'm not hunkering down with my arm, but I'm engaging my back to maintain a position. So it's like that matters.
Yeah.
I want to jump so bad. This is like.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Okay, so we talked about hand positions.
Yeah.
We did the hand and waist. We did hand in hand. We did pits or back, okay? Then we talked briefly about hand and pit, okay? So this is a common position too. So much in line with the hand and waist when it comes to presentation and how it looks, but there's more possibilities for partnering from this position. I can actually lift her very easily if I drop her hand down and I just lift her up like this. Okay, so there's possibilities of lifts in pretty much any hand position, and that one is a very stable one. Yeah. Okay, so that's 4 so far. What's the 5th one? I think
we should talk about the S curve because it's your.
The S curve. Okay, this one, the S curve is probably comes along with some of the more difficult things that you'll see in a pas de deux, mainly being promenade. Promenade in pas de deux with one arm connecting you is generally in an S curve. Now you can be a little bit more academic and do promenade, like say in one of the positions we've already done, but classically you'll see the S curve. So we connect like this, and we'll turn it sideways so you guys can kind of see how this looks, right? Mm-hmm. That's the relationship, okay? So there's multiple ways we can communicate with each other here. If I am, let's just say, if I want to move, I have this finger free.
So do I.
Yeah, our finger is free.
Let's show them that. So you guys, when he says finger free, so both of our big fingers are kind of
trigger fingers.
Trigger fingers, yeah. They're both.
They're free on the wrist, right?
So my finger is on Rex's wrist, and Rex's finger is on my wrist. So again, like we're not clamped, we're not holding hands, we're not doing this. No. Okay. Again, mostly our palms are connecting together to create a relationship.
Yeah. And that way, I feel like it's even easier to apply pressure when you're not squeezing that hand. You're actually using your back and everything like that. You can apply more pressure that way, and it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
right? So let's just say S curve, we can do a promenade in passe.
Yeah,
right?
so you guys, it's safe for you guys to try if you're home with somebody, maybe a passe, but we talked about this. Like, don't try an attitude just yet because you're also like going to be struggling, kind of like making sure you don't hit something at
Spatially
home.
constricted.
And,
yeah.
and that could not go so well. I don't want you to have to do that. So the first thing we talked about, let's give like the simplest version if they're with a novice.
Okay.
But we even said you don't even have to go on your points,
So
okay?
maybe they can see better here.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like at least just try I'm in my pointers, it's weird to be on flat, but you guys could be on flat and just try like a little lift off the floor. So even like sur le coup de pied,
Yeah.
coupe, anything like that. And you're
And instead of turning, what we do is we do the balance check. So she starts to kind of relieve herself of pressure with that hand relationship. I'm not holding on.
No.
I'm letting her go, you know what? I think it's ready to balance.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, we are connected, but I'm not holding her back. So with that sort of delicacy, we can do a promenade.
Yeah. The delicacy matters. It's a very strange relationship.
So she's on her balance. She'll test it real quick. She's on. Now we can move. Let's do a half promenade. We went to the other side. Let's just say she's going to check her balance again. Good. We're going to move again. All the while maintaining that S-curve relationship.
Do you also want to talk about the shoulders?
Yeah, so, well, that's the importance of the S-curve, is that your shoulders are parallel to each other. So you're strongest, and you can communicate with your shoulder directions too, right? So if you do something like this, right, you can gesture that you're about to move through or something like that, right? You're about to do something. If you start opening up, if you go away, that could mean come down and we're going to step away or something like that. So there's a lot of different cues that come from the shoulders, including I'm off balance. Help, I'm off balance. One of the things that I see is the shoulder dip,
Okay,
right?
so if I'm like, do you want me to dip this way or this way right now?
Either way. Either way.
Okay, so say now I'm in passe and I'm falling off my point away from my shoe,
Yeah,
which
so
is unlikely, but if
turning.
I'm starting to dip like this.
So what I don't want is to see that happening, so I step in front. I step in front. So I don't try to manipulate with my hands. I go there and support her there. Any other way, say if we're turning clockwise and she's falling away this way, I stop and then I get back in front.
Yeah.
Okay?
So one of the major misconceptions about promenades, and you can tell me if I'm wrong about this, is that we cannot slow down. And sometimes if something goes wrong, you have to slow down and find that relationship again.
Yeah.
So let's do something. Let's make it spin out of control.
Okay.
So as an example, so let's say this happens where I'm completely without my partner. If Rex tries to speed up, it's just going to turn into more of a nightmare. So even
or cool choreography.
Or world premiere world premiere choreography.
That's
So-
when your boss says, different, but I liked it.
Yeah, different but good. No.
Different but good.
So let's spin it out and then walk them through how you would save
okay.
this. So if I'm spinning out, how would you save this? We already just did.
Don't continue. Stop her movement and catch up.
So ladies, what I did, like if I'm spinning out, I'm immediately turning my inner thigh on.
Yes.
And I'm stopping my heel.
I'd like to say that I'm doing something and helping in this situation, but really 100% of the control is with the standing leg and the strength in the hips.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that it's as long as the partner is reading these signs, it's easy to correct, but I'd say most of that falls on the girl in this situation.
Yeah, so guys, let's talk about the inner thigh strength because like at the end of an extremely long pas de deux.
Yeah.
The first thing that would start to happen if you don't have the stamina or the strength is you kind of start to collapse like into your legs. So it's really easy to, I shouldn't say it's easy, but to kind of just sit in your point shoe. And so then that means like we're dumping. So like at the end of a pas de deux, if I'm just kind of dumping into my standing leg, then it's going to make it hard to control something like a promenade.
And right when you started doing that, I couldn't tell if she was on balance or not.
Yeah.
Like immediately, if you took it into your hip, into your leg, and then you were just kind of sitting in it, I had no idea if she was on balance. Because that relationship was gone in our hands.
Yeah. So it's like the idea of my inner thigh working for me this entire time, it matters because I'm controlling my standing leg by maintaining the inner thigh of my leg. So for the ladies, I would say the inner thigh matters sometimes just as much, if not more, than what your back is doing.
Yeah.
Because either one of two things is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah. And if we stop thinking about ballet dancers always being on balance, we need to think about that word on balance.
It's impossible.
It's impossible because we're fluid.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to balance a water balloon? Don't answer that question. Maybe you have. It's impossible. It's fluid. It's going to go places you don't want it to go. And that's essentially our bodies, right? We can't just find a perfect balance because our heart's still pumping. We got fluid flowing through our bodies. There's no way we can actually truly balance.
Yeah.
So as long as you understand that, you can be on your leg, but that doesn't mean being balanced. The only way you can combat any of these issues is always engaging your inner thigh and pushing the floor away from you, and then engaging your shoulders.
That's one thing he tells me all the time, which I actually forget to do.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things he tells me, like when we're doing a whip turn or something like with multiple turns, is my personal instinct is to continue to lift up. So there's really nothing going into the ground, and everything has to have opposition. So when he tells me, like, push your standing leg into the ground, all of a sudden he's able to really know where my weight is.
Right.
But like, I mean, if I'm on, go to just you want to partner me in a passe? But this is what us ladies do. We think like, lift. Like Rex has no idea, but right now I'm thinking like I'm digging my foot into the ground.
Yeah.
And it matters. It helps him find my balance. And that's something like for me, that's the first thing that gets lost.
Right. Yeah.
So.
It's kind of the difference. It's one of the differences between partnering and not being partnered, right?
Yeah.
I think if you're doing pirouettes on your own, you're not worried about someone finding your balance, or at least continuing your quote-unquote balance. But if you're starting a pirouette connected to the floor 100%, your partner has a better chance of knowing where your center is.
Yeah. Cool. We tackled a lot.
Yeah. I was wondering if there was one more thing we could talk about.
There's always something.
Yeah. That we could do
with people at home.
With people at home.
Well, let's just try the promenade one more time. Like, or you guys, even if you don't have somebody, find something to at least find that S relationship.
Yeah, I would say like a lot of people who teach ballet class, they have the girls warm up that relationship at the bar.
Yeah, so let's bring out our bar.
Okay. So, put it like this. Yeah.
So what would you like, how would you explain?
One of the things that I was a part of, at least one of the part of the classes by the master, was it San Francisco Ballet, Jorge Escobar. So he would have the girls do piqué and try to find the bar and maintain that balance. So notice how I didn't piqué to grab the bar, I piquéed up and then gently found the bar. So try a couple of those.
Okay, so piqué, up.
Yeah. You can do any real position. You can do piqué arabesque. You could do just sous-sus, piqué sous-sus. And then find that bar. That is the kind of relationship that you're going to want to have at the beginning of every pas de deux.
Oh my gosh.
If you start a pas de deux, you off your hand.
Let's show them. Let's show them the... Here, I'll do an attitude front.
Okay.
But like, this is what you're not going to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, yes, they're there for you, but don't take advantage.
That's not how you start the relationship, right? That's like major baggage sort of situation.
So, like, if I were going to step up and I was going to do, what should we do? The same thing maybe one more time? So if I was going to just step up, I'm literally like, look at my hand. I'm barely touching him.
Yeah.
I mean, can you guys see that? But I'm barely holding on. Because you always want to be on your own leg first.
You have to be on your own leg, your own balance.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. That was fun.
Yeah.
I feel like we could be here for hours.
I know.
Should we let people ask us some questions? Because we
Sure.
haven't really. Okay, I'm gonna. Anyone? Okay, you guys, if anyone has any questions, now's the time. Make sure they're ballet related.
Ballet questions, please.
Yes, ballet questions. Can I see what's happening
I
here?
don't know.
If not, that's okay too, you guys. No one has to ask questions. We hope you guys got some information from this that's useful.
A lot of people saying, I need a partner.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, you guys, right now, because we're not in the studios, and partnering, is hard enough when you get to do it all the time.
Yeah.
So if your schools are going to be slow to getting back to partnering, these small, simple things you can be doing at home,
Yeah.
will just keep your mind there.
Yep.
Um,
Using the inner thigh for
Inner
balancing, offering your back and holding your core muscles, and then the approach to every pas de deux that you do is delicate and communicative.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having a good relationship always matters. So,
Yeah.
you guys, this was fun. It was fun to start this relationship today together. I know I did an interview with Leanne last week, but it's going to be cool to introduce you to sort of like how Rex and I work as dancers with Ballet West, but also as directors of Art Emotion. And it's going to be awesome to have Grishko by our side. And like I said, I can't believe I didn't realize it was
NIKOLAY.
Yeah, NIKOLAY. My 20th anniversary of wearing Grishkos. So I think that's pretty amazing. So that should say a lot about the brand.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited because tomorrow, so you guys, just so you know, I have extremely narrow feet. And so they've been literally a pain in my butt for my entire life of dancing.
I have narrow feet too.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
So probably
we
our
both have.
son's gonna have narrow feet.
Ugh.
But the tips of my shoes, like, there's not much there because I have to have such a narrow width. So it's amazing because I'm gonna meet with Leanne tomorrow, and we're gonna get a special order shoe because they can actually maintain the width of my shoe that I need to fit my foot, but increase what the tip is in relationship to the floor. And I have never been so excited.
Making a larger contact point with the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I also have flexible feet, so sometimes what I do, especially if I'm dancing for a long time, or if I'm like, well, if I'm tired, but if my feet are super warmed up and super flexible, I sometimes feel like I'm going to go over my shoe, especially doing partner turns. Like, it's something that has happened where, like, literally I'm so far over the tip and there's nothing there for me. So what I start to do sometimes is I pull back in my ankle and my heel to kind of like align myself, but that's not what I want. That's not what I want my foot to look like ever. So I'm just really excited about being able to connect with NIKOLAY on a different level and have shoes that work. So you guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to any of us via like NIKOLAY World, or Grishko World, or Ali DeBona, Rex Lyosh, or Art Emotion USA. So there's so many ways to connect with us, and we love you guys.
Take care.
Yeah, have an awesome day, awesome week, also awesome weekend, and
Yeah, because isn't it Memorial Day?
yeah, this weekend's well, in the States, but there might be people all over. So in the United States, it's a holiday this weekend. So be safe, have fun, take care of yourselves, and love to you all. Okay, we're not undone with live, so we're gonna end this one, and then
And
yeah,
now.
and then